Sandra, let's talk about when the mask begins to slip in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Well, for different people, it's at different times. It could be, weeks or months. It could be years. It could be decades into the relationship. I mean, part of psychopathy, Dr. Robert Hare, the world's leading expert, calls it a disorder of social hiding, meaning they hide their disorder well. One of the seminal books, written on psychopathy was called The Mask of Sanity. And it talked about how well they wear the masks that convince other people of their normality. And so even experts in the field get fooled by them. So it could be, the women could be, or the victims could be, in weeks, months, years, decades, before they start getting inklings of what we call the Jekyll and Hyde personas. And that's really where the terms Jekyll and Hyde come from, which are these very different sides of the same person. And psychopathy is very much like that. Each one, you could have many different masks that represent his professional side, his side at home. I call it his billboard, whatever it is he's selling about himself and about how he wants the world to perceive them. So she, somewhere along the line, when she finally catches hold of a thread and begins to follow that thread, she may uncover a hidden life. He's not who he says he is, aliases, other women, children, criminality, a whole other life that can exist there. I mean, I've had women who were married for 20 years finding out these other hidden lives. And, people are very quick to judge that, thinking, who couldn't figure this out? But, give credit where credit is due, that this is what psychopaths are good at. This is what they do, is that they hide well. So, at some point when the mask does begin to slip and she does begin to see this Jekyll and Hyde, it creates what we call cognitive dissonance, which is having to hold two differing belief systems at the same time. And it creates internal conflict. It's the beginning part of their trauma to hold, he's good, he's bad. I think he's this, but I'm finding out that. I love him, I loathe him. We're not really created to hold those kinds of what we call dichotomous or polar opposite kinds of feelings for extended periods of time, because it forces our mind to try to reconcile that. The mind wants to be harmonious. It wants to be in balance. And when that cognitive dissonance hits, not only has she had all the gaslighting, up till that time period, but when she's hit with cognitive dissonance and her mind really becomes very impaired, creates exhaustion in the mind, trying to work out these details of the Jekyll and Hyde. And we really believe that that impact of finding these two alternate realities of who he is, he's good, he's bad, he's Jekyll, he's Hyde, is the beginning of her trauma. So many of these people get diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and yet it is PTSD, and it's not quite post-traumatic stress. And when therapists look at it feels a little bit different. And I think part of that is that this is a unique kind of trauma to pathological psychopathic relationships. It is a different type of trauma that is created in the beginning parts of this cognitive dissonance. And so, you know, not only had she had mind tampering, you know, from all the